Hey guys, my name is Josh Kramer and welcome to this vinyasa flow. In this class, we're really going to be focusing on opening up and stretching our hamstrings, as well as building some strength in standing poses. We'll also be working a little bit into some closed twists, but all around it's just going to be a fun, dynamic, and creative flow. You won't need any props for this class, but if you're a little bit tight in your hamstrings, go ahead and grab yourself a couple of yoga blocks in case you need them. So go get yourself set up on your yoga mat and we'll get started. Let's begin in Supta Baddha Konasana. Come into a seated position, place the soles of your feet together and create a nice diamond shape with your legs. Don't have your sits bones too close to your heels, as we want to make this more of an outer hip stretch. And lastly, lie yourself down onto your back. Palms face up. Slightly draw your shoulders down towards your mat. Gently lift your chest up towards the ceiling. And slightly tuck your chin towards your chest so that we keep the back of our neck nice and long. Notice if you're arching too much into your low back, and then gently draw your low back or your lumbar spine towards your mat to help fill out that space slightly. We don't want to completely fill it out, but just gently reduce the arch in the low back. And lastly, actively draw your knees towards the mat so that you create a more intense stretch through the inner groin, the adductor muscles. Press the soles of your feet together. And lastly, relax and completely let go of the engagement and allow the weight of gravity to bring your knees towards your mat and to open through the inner groin. Lastly, quieten the mind and allow yourself to find a deep centering or a deep state of relaxation before we begin the class. This class isn't going to be too challenging. It's designed in a way so that if you're a beginner, you can modify and take it slow. But if you're somebody who's a bit more advanced and you want a bit more of a challenging practice, you can push yourself in this class. Even though the poses are simple, I want you to work to your maximum ability. That is the essence of an advanced practitioner in yoga. It's the ability to take a simple pose, a basic pose, and make it complex. Focus on your breath. Slow your inhales. Lengthen your exhales. When you're ready, gently draw your knees up and together. Place the soles of your feet on your mat and windshield wiper your knees side to side to release any tension. Lastly, roll yourself up and come on over into cat-cow on your hands and knees. Shoulders above your wrists, hips above your knees. Inhale, arch your back, gaze forward slightly. Exhale, dome your upper back, protract your shoulder blades and round it out. You can move forward and back, working into your wrist flexion if you like. Inhale, arch your back. Exhale, round it out, cat pose. Bring some life into your spine, into your core. Inhale. Exhale, round. Couple more times, inhale. And come to a neutral spine. Walk your hands forward slightly and walk your knees back slightly. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back into your first downward facing dog. Pedal your feet out. Find those tight areas in your body. Use this as an explorative pose. You can let your hips drop over side to side. Stretch through your side body. Move in a way that feels natural to you. Find stillness. Lastly, look between your hands and tiptoe slowly walk your way up to the front of your mat. Inhale halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, full Uttanasana. Inhale, reach your hands up overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to heart center, Tadasana. Let's jump straight into our sun salutations to build some heat and energy into our body before we start really stretching through our hamstrings. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, reach up. Feel free to modify this to suit your level. Exhale, forward fold Uttanasana. Keep a bend in your knees if you need to. Inhale, halfway lengthen Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step back through plank first round. And if you need to lower your knees here, you can lower through Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes under, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Couple breaths. Gaze between your hands, and this time step your way up to the front. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Tadasana. Inhale, reach up through your fingertips. And exhale, forward fold all the way down. Feel that stretch through your hamstrings. Lift your kneecaps, engage your quads. Inhale, halfway. Concave your spine. Exhale, plant your hands. Maybe jump back this time through plank. And then Chaturanga, upward facing dog through your vinyasa. Gaze between your hands. Bend your knees. If you like, you can jump. Make your way to the front of the mat. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Urdhva Hastasana, Tadasana. For the next few rounds, I want you to make this your own. Make these sun salutations, challenge your practice. So if you want to play around with handstands, jumping, floating, or stepping, maybe pull it back and work on refining. Whatever you need to do, let's make this your own practice today. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold Uttanasana. All that I ask is that you bring life into each posture. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, make your way through your vinyasa. If you want to jump back, float back, handstand back, whatever suits you. If you need to lower your knees at any time, that's fine too. Appreciate your yoga. Gaze between your hands. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, Tadasana. Straight back into it. Reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold Uttanasana. Bring a little bit more stretch and intensity into your hamstring stretch here. Inhale halfway. As you warm up, challenge yourself more. Place more tension on your muscles. Feel the heat building in your body. In down dog, press your heels down towards your mat. Lift your kneecaps. Draw your chest towards the mat. Intensify the stretch. Bend your knees and make your way to the front of your mat. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Tadasana. And last round here. Inhale, reach up through your fingertips. Exhale, Uttanasana. Nice deep stretch into your hamstring. Inhale halfway. Exhale, make your way back. And let's all meet in downward facing dog. From down dog, inhale, reach your right leg up towards the ceiling. Exhale, draw your right knee towards your nose. Come high through your plank. Step your foot between your hands. Lower your back knee down. Untuck your toes. And make your way up into Kapiyasana or low lunge. You can bring your right hand or your hands onto your right knee. And start to feel into your low lunge or your Kapiyasana. Notice your target area, your left hip flexor or your left psoas. You can allow your right knee to reach past your right foot. Most of the weight should be into your back knee. And be here for a moment. Give yourself time to enter the stretch. You can gently pulse and bring the dynamic tension into your front foot. Gently place that tension and that pressure on your left hip flexor to help it ease and release open. Keep drawing your shoulders back, lift your chest, gaze forward. Even though this particular stretch is for our left hip flexor, we also want to make sure that we're not collapsing and rounding into our upper back. Couple more breaths. For the last 2 breaths, let's reach our hands up overhead. Inhale. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper. And release your fingertips to the mat. This is where you can grab your blocks if you need them, if you're quite tight in your hamstring. Otherwise, shift the weight back so that your left hip is over your left knee. Straighten your front leg for half splits or half Hanumanasana. If you need your blocks here, I'd rather you be up high with a nice straight and long spine than rounding into your spine, just to allow your hands to come down. You can open and close your hips, move in a natural and intuitive way. The target area here is our right hamstring. So move in a way that helps that to feel good, so that you feel that nice opening and that stretch through your hamstring. It doesn't necessarily matter what the pose looks like. What's more important is the sensation. How does it feel? Pulse your chin towards your shin or your ankle. Intensify that stretch on your right hamstring. We've got plenty of time to help them ease open. So just enjoy it. And when you're ready, bring that right foot back down onto your mat. Find the top of your lunge, lift your back knee off your mat, plant your hands, step back through plank, vinyasa. Let's all meet in down dog. From down dog, inhale your left leg up towards the ceiling. Exhale, draw your knee towards your nose, keep pressing the ground away, dome your upper back, hug your knee in towards your chest. And lastly, step your left foot between your hands, lower your back knee down and come up into Kapiyasana on the opposite side. Feel that stretch through your right hip flexor this time. Lift your chest, draw your shoulders back, be proud and gaze forward. If you're somebody who has overly tight hip flexors, you might find yourself leaning over onto your left thigh. Press your hands into your front knee to help you draw your chest back. Another option, if you're somebody who feels really uncomfortable in this position, is to have your blocks so that you're allowed to fold forward and take some of that tension out. That's totally fine. Inhale, back off slightly. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper. Dynamic tension to help us place that pressure onto our right hip flexor and help it to ease open, to allow the fascia to release. For our next couple breaths, inhale your hands up. Exhale, sink. Inhale. Exhale. Release your hands down to your mat. Grab your blocks if you need them. Straighten your front leg. Half Hanumanasana. Work into your left hamstring. It's okay if you're more back. You can almost be sitting your right buttock back onto your right heel, or maybe you're a little bit further forward in almost a 3/4 split position. The main thing is that you feel that tension on your left hamstring. If you're somebody who's overly flexible, or you have a high degree of flexibility, you might almost need to be in the splits right now to feel that opening. If you're somebody who's super tight, or you have tight hamstrings, you might be using your blocks on the high end to take some of that rounding out into the spine, because we want to really isolate the hamstring in this stretch and not compromise the form of our back or our spine. Pulse your chin towards your ankle. Couple breaths. Just like I said at the start, there's room for modification for anyone depending on your level. Just because you're an advanced practitioner doesn't mean that this is a pose you shouldn't practice anymore. Slow things down. Return to that beginner mindset. And place your foot back on your mat. Lift your back knee off the ground. Plant your hands. Vinyasa. Downward facing dog. From down dog, inhale, reach your right leg up towards the ceiling. Exhale, draw your right knee towards your nose. Step your foot between your hands. This time, place your back foot down at about 45 degrees. We're coming up into pyramid pose or Parsvottanasana. So straighten your front leg. Inhale your way up. And I want you to start squaring your hips towards the front of the room. You can have your feet a little bit wider. So rather than being on a tightrope, you can be on train tracks. A little bit of distance depending on what feels more comfortable for you. The main thing here is that you're pressing actively into your back leg so that you can really work the outer edge of your foot down, and we're straightening and squaring our hips forward. Your front leg, kneecap is lifting, the quads engage, everything is stable. Place your hands on your hips and draw your elbows together to help you lift your chest. Almost think of creating a gentle back bend. From here, take a deep inhale, and on an exhale, I want you to fold forward, hinge at the hips, but keep the legs spreading apart. Press your feet into the mat. Draw your chin towards your right foot and inhale back up. As you do that, think of drawing your chin towards the right side of your right foot. So almost as if you're twisting over slightly. Down and up. Keep the feet working. We'll do this a few more times. Exhale down, not all the way. Bring it back up. Dynamic tension onto the hamstring. What we're doing here is we're not allowing ourselves to collapse into the pose. Slow control movement. Keep pressing onto the outer edge of your left foot. Your back leg is working just as hard. Think of gripping the mat with your feet, almost as if you want to create a tear through the middle. Spread your feet apart. Draw your left hip forward as you draw your chin towards the right side of your right foot. Last one. And this time pause at the bottom. Lastly, you can release your fingertips down. If you need your blocks, you can grab those and be on the high side, or just place your hands on your shin. Whatever helps you to feel that stretch through your right hamstring without compromising the form of your upper back. We'll be here for a few breaths. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale up nice and strong. Bring your hands onto your hips. And lastly, bend into your front knee. Frame the mat and step yourself back through your vinyasa. Let's repeat that on the opposite side. Inhale, left leg up towards the ceiling. Exhale, knee to nose. Step your foot between your hands. Place your back foot down at about 45 degrees and come up to standing. Hands on your hips. Start to really align yourself before we start to come into that movement. Press firmly onto the outer edge of your right foot. Square your right hip forward so that your pelvis is square. Lift the kneecap of your front leg. And exhale. Hinge at the hips. Fold forward. Your chin comes towards the pinky toe side of your left foot. Inhale up. Exhale, lower. Keep your spine nice and straight and long. Little back bend at the top. Exhale. Slow movement here. What we're doing is forcing ourselves to move slow and controlled whilst maintaining engagement of our muscles, stability in our legs. Our quad has to work to stabilize the knee. Focus on your breath. How does that stretch feel in your left hamstring? Are you spreading the mat apart with your feet? And on your last one, exhale all the way down, pause at the bottom, and lastly, release your fingertips down. Keep pressing firmly down through your right foot. Can you lift the inner arch of your right foot? 3, 2, 1. Inhale up if you can. Bend into your front knee. Fold forward, plant your hands. Vinyasa. Let's meet in downward facing dog. If you need to take child's pose, feel free. This is a very slow vinyasa, very slow flow. What we're doing is moving with integrity, bringing it back to basics. That's what today is about. Let's go ahead and add on to that. Inhale, reach your right leg up towards the ceiling. Exhale, knee to nose. Step your foot between your hands. Plant your back foot down. Inhale, come up through pyramid, hands on your hips. On an exhale, draw your chin towards the outside of your right foot. Inhale, back up. Just for 3. Down and up. For 2. Down and up. 1. And lower all the way down. Find your pyramid pose. Take a deep inhale, square your hips forward. Press firmly into your left foot. And from here, bring your left hand. If you want a more challenging option, bring it to the outside, the right side of your right foot, and inhale up for Revolved triangle pose. Parvrita Trikonasana. If you want a less challenging option, bring it to the inside of your right foot so that you don't have to rely on twisting as much. Keep pressing into your left foot as you find your Revolved triangle pose. Lastly, gaze up if you have your balance. This is quite a challenging posture for a lot of people. Pause there for a few breaths. I'll demonstrate what it looks like with the block. You can bring your hand onto your block. This is a closed twist for a lot of people that is quite challenging. 1 breath. And release. Find pyramid pose. Bend into your front knee. Vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Let's do that same thing on the opposite side. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, knee to nose. Step your foot between your hands. Come up. Bring your hands onto your hips for pyramid. Press firmly into your back foot. Exhale, draw your chin towards your pinky toe. And up for 1. Down and up for 2. Keep lifting the kneecap of your front leg. Firm your quad. Down and up for 3. Last one, all the way down. Pause for a moment. Release your fingertips down. Grab your block if you need it. Bring your right hand to the pinky toe side of your left foot. Revolve triangle. Gaze up. Use your block if you need it. Take those modifications. If you find this too challenging, you're welcome to stay in pyramid pose, Pajvatonasana. 3, 2, 1. Release your hands down. Bend into your front knee. Vinyasa. So often we don't allow ourselves time to hold poses for long enough. Vinyasa has just become this place where we can move quickly without mindfulness, but today I really want to dial it back, bring it back to simple poses and hold them with integrity and slow movement. Inhale your right leg up. Let's add on to that this time. Knee to nose. Step your foot between your hands. Come up into your pyramid, or the top of a pyramid pose. Hands onto your hips. This time on an exhale, fold forward. Draw your chin towards your pinky toe. Bring it up. You know where to go from here. Down and up for 2. Down and up for 3. Find revolve triangle. See if you can come into it smoothly now that you have your balance and your rhythm. Hold this for 3, 2, 1. Gaze in front of your right foot, bend into your right knee. Bring your fingertips in front of your foot. We're coming up into revolved half moon. Lift your back foot off the ground. Flex your back foot. Revolve your torso open. Parita Ardha Chandrasana. Revolved half moon, another challenging pose. And you're welcome to use your block here if you need it. Lift the kneecap of your standing leg. Lift your left heel higher. Find your balance. From here, I want you to bend slowly into your right leg. Step your left toes onto your mat and find a revolved lunge. Reach your right fingertips up towards the ceiling. Nice, relaxing, closed lunge twist. Release your right hand down. Vinyasa. And let's do the same on the opposite side. Inhale, lift leg up towards the ceiling. Knee to nose. Come up to the top of your pyramid. You should be moving with integrity and a bit more speed this far into the class. Exhale down and up. 1, 2. Your hamstrings are probably feeling nice and open at this point in the class. Pause at the bottom, revolved triangle pose. Hold it for 3, 2, 1. Reach your right fingertips in front of your left foot. Find revolved half moon. Flex your right foot, the foot that's up in the air. Lift your kneecap, lift your heel high. Revolve your left shoulder back. Open your torso. 3, 2, 1. Bend into your left knee. Place your right foot down and find your nice revolved lunge twist. Nice work, yogis. Maybe you've broken a little bit of a sweat, which is surprising considering we're just holding poses. Release your hand down, vinyasa, and downward facing dog. Pedal your feet out if you need to. Take child's pose if you need to. Take a deep inhale, exhale. From here back to where we started. Inhale your right leg up towards the ceiling. Exhale, knee to nose. Step your foot between your hands. Lower your back knee down once more. Kapiyasana. From here, inhale, reach your hands up overhead. Exhale, sink to your maximum depth. Inhale. Exhale, release your fingertips. Straighten your front leg, half splits. Find a bit of rhythm here. Bend into your front knee. Inhale, reach your hands up. Kapiyasana. Exhale, fingertips down. Straighten your front leg. Send your hips back. Your hamstrings should be feeling open right now. Inhale, Kapiyasana. Exhale, half splits. One more time. Inhale. Reach up. Exhale. Straighten your front leg. Kapiyasana. Sorry. Half Hanumanasana. Bend into your front knee. Lift your back knee off the mat. Vinyasa. Down dog. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step your foot between your hands. Kapiyasana, reach your hands up. Inhale. Exhale, straighten your front leg. Stretch through your left hamstring. Bend into your front knee. Kapiyasana. Exhale. Half splits. A few more times. Tension onto your left hamstring. Last one, inhale, exhale. And bend into your front knee, lift your back knee off your mat. Last vinyasa of the day. Enjoy it. Downward facing dog. And lower your knees down onto your mat. Sit back on your heels. So this next part is going to be a bit of playfulness. It's an opportunity for you to explore arm balances. And if you're somebody who's advanced, you can take this through, add in your own variations, maybe play with handstand. But if you're somebody who's more of a beginner, you can either just watch or feel free to give this a go. The arm balances we're going to work on are Bhuja Pidasana and carrying that forward into Titibhasana. It's going to require a lot of hamstring flexibility if you want to bring it into Titibhasana. But what I'm going to demonstrate today is how to use the blocks to potentially make this a little bit more accessible for you. So I want you to place your blocks on their low height. The great thing about Bhuja Pidasana as an entry-level arm balance is that typically with arm balances like crow pose, you tend to be fearful of falling onto your face. But in Bhuja Pidasana, all the weight is behind you, so the only place that you're going to fall is onto your backside, and there's nothing scary about that. If you really want to, you can put a blanket behind you, but you probably don't need to. So come into Malasana or Yogi Squat, just in front of your yoga blocks. Have them about shoulder width apart behind you. Find your squat, and then lift up slightly and bring your hands behind you on top of the edge of your block. And I want you to really work your legs over onto the tops of your shoulders. Bhuja Pidasana is called shoulder press pose. So once you find a nice lift there where you can get your shoulders right on top, I want you to sit the weight back onto your triceps or onto your elbows. Once you find a nice stable balance, make sure you have solid cork or wooden blocks here. You'll start to feel light on your toes. Lastly, you can lift your toes off the mat, cross your ankles over for Bhuja Pidasana. And if you're somebody who wants to, you can come into Titibhasana. All you have to do is start to straighten your legs. Press the ground away. Come back through Bhuja Pidasana. Bring your feet down. Come into your Yogi Squat. Roll your wrists out. You can even sit on your blocks if you need a little break. So I want you to play around with that a few times. This is a great entry-level arm balance for you to practice because the blocks will add a little bit of extra height for you so that you don't require as much hamstring flexibility for Titibhasana, but it also just gives you a new sense of lightness. You can do it without yoga blocks if you don't have them, but I like to include them. So let's try that one more time. Bhuja Pidasana. Come into your squat. Thread your shoulders underneath your calves or your knees. Bring the weight into your blocks. Send the weight back into your arms. You can keep a bend in your elbows. Cross your ankles and squeeze your legs into your arms to create the lock. Hug your elbows together. Gaze forward. Such an enjoyable arm balance once you find your balance. When you're ready, undo, place your feet down, and hang forward. Sit back down, move your blocks out of the way. Come into a kneeling position and gently roll your wrists out. To end our class on a more quiet note, come into a seated position, straighten your legs out in front of you. We'll work through some more static hamstring stretches. Janu Shirshasana. So from your seated Dandasana position with your legs out in front of you, I want you to take hold of your left ankle and draw it in to your inner thigh. So we're finding a Baddha Konasana shape with the left knee and our right leg is straight. Lift up through your chest. And on an exhale, fold forward, draw your chin towards your right ankle, and lastly, bring your forearms down. If you have a yoga strap, you're welcome to use that right now if you have tight hamstrings. I'd rather you be up here with a nice, straight, concave spine than down here rounding too much. It's okay to have a slight rounding in your spine, just as long as you're not feeling any discomfort or achingness in your upper back or your lumbar spine. You can gently pulse your chin towards your right ankle. Keep flexing your right foot. Start to settle and ease. Quieten your mind and allow yourself to completely become immersed into the pose. Immerse yourself in the sensations that your body is feeling. Couple more breaths here. And gently ease yourself straight. Straighten your left leg alongside your right. And we'll come into Upavishta Konasana or a straddle forward fold. I'll turn sideways on my mat. But I want you to bring your legs out wide. If you like, you can sit on a block or a rolled up blanket here to bring some extra height, especially if you're tight in the hamstring or the adductors. That might make it more accessible for you. Take a nice deep inhale, lift your spine, keep your back nice and straight. And on an exhale, allow yourself to fold forward. You can bring your forearms down onto the mat if that's accessible. Otherwise, be on your fingertips. You should be feeling this through your hamstrings, but think of feeling it more on the inside of your thigh, the inside hamstring muscle. Breathe and settle. Flex and point your toes. See how that feels. This class was intended to not only work your hamstrings, but to encourage you to slow down, to adopt a beginner mindset, and to remind yourself that yoga isn't always about fast, dynamic movement. It can be, and that's great, but there are also times where we need to just slow down and refine. Something I do quite regularly is I'll pick just a couple poses and I will base a whole class off of just those two poses. And what that does is it forces you to really think about what's going on in those poses. What areas are being worked? What muscles are you targeting? Where your alignment might be off. It's important to do that sometimes, to check in, to keep yourself accountable. Take a few more breaths. When you're ready, ease yourself up. And it's come into Janu Shirshasana on the opposite side. Straighten your legs out, Dandasana, nice straight spine. Bring your right foot into the inner thigh of your left leg. And exhale, fold forward. Breathe and settle. I just want to take a moment to say thank you for practicing with me today. If you haven't taken my classes before, please go and check out some of my other classes online. I have a lot of free classes on YouTube. It's a great place to start. But if you enjoyed this, there's plenty more. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Be grateful for your body. Be grateful for your ability to be able to do yoga. It's something we take for granted, but it's such a gift to be able to move and manipulate our body. Inhale, make your way up. Straighten your legs out in front of you. And lastly, let's lie ourselves down over onto our backs. Hug your knees into your chest. Keep a hold of your right knee. Straighten your left leg out along your mat. And twist your right leg over to the left. Reach your right arm over to the right for a nice final spinal twist. Just briefly. Inhale. Exhale, twist. Inhale back through center, hug your knees in. Take a hold of your left knee, straighten your right leg out, and twist it over to the opposite side. Deep inhale. Exhale, twist. Inhale through center. Give yourself one last hug. And lie your legs out along your mat for Shavasana, the final pose. Make sure you're nice and comfortable. Palms face up towards the ceiling. Slightly lift your chest. And for the next few moments, I want you to completely surrender down to your mat. With each breath, feeling gratitude for your body and for this practice of yoga. Start to bring the awareness back. Move your fingers, your thumbs, your toes. When you're ready, lie yourself over onto your right side. Keep your eyes closed and don't be in any rush. Press yourself up to a seated position. Bring your hands to prayer at your heart center. Take a deep inhale, fill your lungs. And exhale. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you through this practice today. I really hope that you've enjoyed yourself If you're somebody who's new to yoga, then congratulations for making it through this session. There's so much more to come that you will grow with and enjoy in future practices. And for those of you who are more advanced, I hope that this session allowed you to really dial it back and focus on slowing things down and refining your movements. Thank you again, and I will see you next time. Namaste.